So this is our last class. So I'm going to ask you, what would you like to do with the last class? We can either go on and continue on Birkat, or we can go over any prayers that you didn't review last week. Any preferences?
Is your mom staying with you?
No, she lives 20 minutes away, but she came to my house today. I've been going to her house.
That's fabulous. Well, I wish you well. I'm really sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Debbie, I'm so sorry about last Sunday. Once again, the Eastern time got the better of me. I was out. I came home at 3:30. I was sitting at my computer and I was just killing time. And at a few minutes before 4, I logged on. And at 10 after 4, when nobody came on, I thought something strange here. And then it occurred to me that I totally screwed up the Eastern time thing again.
No problem, Linda. It happens to me all the time because we're all over the country now. I'll have a meeting with.
I know. I'm so sorry I didn't get on for your Zoom, Shiva, but
thank you. It was wonderful. I have to say.
I have my sympathy. Yeah, I am so sorry I missed that, but please accept my heartfelt sympathies on the loss of your dad.
Thank you. No reason to apologize.
Well, yeah.
So should we go over some prayers we haven't? I'll do a vote between reviewing prayers that you didn't review last week or Birkat. How many would like to review prayers you didn't review last week? I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And who would like 6? Terry, you're up with 6. And then how about Birkat? Well, that's an overwhelming vote for Birkat. All right.
You're nervous.
So
we're good with anything.
You all love Birkat.
So I think what I'm going to do is not, come back here. Hold on a second. This is being finicky. Sorry.
Zoom and PowerPoint are wonderful tools when they work.
No, it's not that. I just moved you guys. My bar of all the pictures moved. And I want to be able to see all my friends.
Is this our last week or do we have one more?
No, this is our last week.
Oh.
So I'm just going to go through them and then I'll make the screen bigger when we decide. So the first is La'asok b'divrei Torah. Does anybody want to review that one? It's not one we read frequently.
No.
It's what you say before you study Torah. All right.
Before you study. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's just go ahead and read it. See if my computer decides to be cooperative today or not. All right. The English is a little
day.
Yes, but wait, does the mouse work? Yeah, see, mouse. If mouse doesn't like it.
Do you have another one?
So we're just going to do it. No, it's just this program. So we'll do it like this. All right. Would someone like to read it in Hebrew for us?
I'll read it.
All right, Gail.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
Good job. Would anybody else like to take a chance to read it? Robin.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahasok b'divrei Torah.
Beautiful. Anyone else want to review it? Okay. Would someone like to read it in English?
I'll read it in English.
All right, Helene, this should not be tough.
I figured I'd do the easy one. Baruch atah Adonai. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, who has provided us with a path to holiness through the observance of mitzvot and has instructed us to engage with the words of Torah. And I love that first line which says sovereign of time and space. I like that so much better than King of the Universe. You know, it just really, it resonates with me. So I really do like that translation.
I just find it interesting that look how verbose the English is, but look how many letters there are in Hebrew.
Right.
Words are in Hebrew. Interesting. All right. Baruch Hu, do we need to review Baruch Hu? Does anybody want to
No.
review it? We're good with that, I think. Okay. This is part of the blessing that comes after the Baruch Hu. Is anybody interested in reviewing that one? Tell me if you've already done them
Yes.
last week. Yes?
No, we didn't.
Is that
Yeah.
you, Corinne?
I'd like to do both of them.
Oh, the Baruch Hu and,
Yeah, that's
All right.
something we use more.
all right, so we need someone to be the leader and someone to be the congregation. All right, so Elaine's going to be the reader and Terry's going to be the congregation.
Okay. Barhu et Adonai Hamvorah.
Baruch atah Baruch Adonai Hamvo Hamovorah Leolam Va'ed.
And then,
Baruch et Adonai Hamovorah.
Elaine, you get,
Baruch-
I think we're doing the switching.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorah Leolam Va'ed.
good job. Would anybody else like to have a partner to practice? Okay, so we'll go on to the next page. And this is the blessing that you say, Tiotzer Or is the name of it. Does anybody want to take a turn to practice this?
Krishna.
Terry, go for it.
Mhm. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yoser or Uvo Re
Mhm.
Hasher Hashem.
Look at the chet, look above the chet to the left. There's a vowel up there.
Hoshet. Hoshem.
Hoshech, tzach at the end.
Hoshek. Oh, sorry. Hoshek.
All right.
Say Shalom. Uvo Re Eto Eto
That's a dash
Ah.
in between there.
Ha Ko.
Good job. So if you ever struggle with this word, this prayer is talking about God forming darkness and light. Hoshech is one of the, I think it's the 9th plague. We say Hoshech. So
Okay.
one of the ones are, would someone like to read it in English? And let me expand the page a bit so we can fit it all on. Maybe. All right. Would anybody like to read it in English? Go for it, Robin.
Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, forming light and creating darkness, bringing harmony while creating all.
Beautiful. Thank you. This tends to be a prayer that is said by the prayer leader. I think at least in our shul it is. Next, we come to hold on, looks like I'm missing something.
Yerhot Hashakar.
Yep. Oh, because I have to bring it over. Is anybody interested in reading through Birchot HaShachar? Okay, it's something more done by the prayer leader. To where we thanked God for, I'm sorry?
I was gonna say it's all practice in Hebrew, not necessarily the prayers.
Correct.
I'd like to try it.
All right. Glad you spoke up. So it's all about, and remember we had some interesting discussions about, the translations of these. So could we just maybe have different people read different ones?
Sure.
All right. Laura, you want to start us? You have to unmute for us.
I thought someone else was starting. I didn't want to take their
Oh,
turn.
okay. Elaine, are you starting?
No, Lori can go ahead. Okay, I'll start. I'll
All right,
start.
Elaine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. You
Keep
want me
going.
to keep going?
Oh, yeah, you got to finish the blessing.
Oh, Asher Natan Lasechanu. No, yes,
Nope, try again.
no. Lasech, no.
That's
Knee,
a,
knee,
it's a vav.
knee.
It's a
V.
vav. There you go.
Lasech, knee, V. Bina. Is that
It's a V knot. It's a vet.
Bina? Yeah, it doesn't have the bean in the middle.
Yeah.
Bina, Lahav, Heen, Bain, Yom, Uvev, Laolam, Laolah.
Try it again.
La, is that a yud?
Yes, it is.
La, I'm not sure how to, La,
You're right. You're right.
Layla,
Lila.
Lila. Oh, yes.
And when you see
Thank you.
Bain Yom Uvain, often it's Bain Yom Uvain and it's Yom and Lila together. Is that so? Yom and Lila, or Yom day, Lila night. So.
Oh,
um,
Yom Uvain Lila.
Yep.
Okay.
And notice that you don't we don't give the any sound to the yud because the lamed has the vowel. The shva cuts the syllable.
Right.
La.
Lila.
Debbie,
Yes,
Debbie, isn't the rule that if you have a kamatz, that's that little T, if you have a kamatz followed by a yud, right, where there's no vowel under the yud, that is pronounced I as in pie.
correct.
Is that the rule?
Lila.
Because you can't really do la, ya, la.
Right.
You have to run them together. And then the shva under it means that it doesn't get its own sound. So it tags along with lamed. So it's Lila. Yep. All right. Super job. Lori, would you take the next one?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzal mo.
Excellent.
Oh, sorry.
Good job. Does anybody
keep
want to take, if you want to keep going, go for it.
Oh, okay. One more line. Baruch
Sure.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben bat.
Which one are you? Are you a Ben or a Bot? Do you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. Bat.
There you go.
That I know. Horin.
Good job. But when people say this, I don't know how your shul does it, but
No,
you have to
you're
say
right.
the correct one. Did you want to go next, Lori? Or
Oh.
Linda? Sorry, Linda.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael.
Beautiful. Do
Baruch
you want
atah
to do
Adonai
another one?
Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim.
Excellent. Good. Does anybody want to do the next one?
I'll do it.
All right, Corinne.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam malvis arumim.
Good. The second to last word, read that one more time for me.
Malvis.
Good. Malbish.
Yeah,
It's a shin. Good job.
addition. Correct.
All right. Do you want to do another one, Corinne?
Okay. Is that the top one there?
Yep.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam matir asurim.
Excellent. Who would like to have the next one or two?
I'll do it.
Who's
Baruch
it?
atah, yeah. Baruch
Okay.
atah, yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufim.
Good job.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam roka haaretz al hamayim.
Good job. Did you want to go next, Terry? I saw your hand before.
Sure. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ha may being
Careful, check that, check that. It's a hame. It's not a vet,
Keen.
it's a chaf.
ha may clean
There you go.
meets it just meets
Right?
die.
So close. Meets, there's 2 dots under the dalet.
But there's a yud after the,
Yep. So it's just like our word, the letters AY together. S-A-Y,
oh, day,
Day,
not
right?
die,
day. it's
day, okay. God day, Baruch,
Hold on, let's look at that last
Yeah.
word.
wait, I think I lost my place. So
1, 2,
Gadai.
3. And what's the last word on that line after mitzadeh?
Oh, Gave.
Got to put the resh
I'm
on.
sorry. Veer.
Gaver.
Gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa le
Look at the dot
Wow.
underneath it. Look at the dot under the lamed.
oh, it's only one dot. Oh,
Yep.
that'd be Lee, but there's a yud there.
Again, so it's, think of it as like the word key, K-E-Y. You've got basically the E sound with a yud sound. So it's basically like E-Y. You put them together, E.
Lee, okay, Lee. But Cole, Ray, B,
So the sadi and the resh go together, Sar,
Star, B. That's one dot.
it's a kaf.
Oh gosh. Star, key.
Good
How
job.
it's hard to distinguish for me the, differentiating the bets
So
and
The bet's like a little beaver. It has a little tail on the end of it. That's how I
oh,
look
you
at it.
say it's so much nicer than I tell my kids, Helene. I tell my
has-
kids it's a
just
bet.
like-
It's not,
Just like it has a little tail like a beaver, so it's a bet. And that's like, I think one of the things that we get in trouble with is also, it's tav, and it also has a little foot on it, has a toe on it.
right.
So it's pronounced as a T. I use juvenile memory devices to distinguish them because it helps.
The way I
That's
teach
a
my
good idea.
kindergarten is that bet has a butt.
Oh,
It
that's
has a
better.
belly button, but it's also got a backside. So we're all talking
Hmm.
about body parts because 5 and
Oh, yes.
6-year-olds get that.
When I,
I never got that.
So it's very minute. I mean, if you look at the back of the bet versus the cough, it's just very minute
Very
difference.
minute.
and
So-
I learned that a B has a bean in the middle of it.
Ah,
Wow.
well, I
the-
told my, yeah,
and the P, the sound has a P in the middle of it.
ah. So I teach my kids it has a belly button, and for vet, the belly button got vacuumed out. And pay has a penny because it got paid, but Faye's penny fell out.
Oh, that's cute.
So
Oh, that's cute.
That's
Yeah.
cute.
whatever works, right? Helene, beavers, butts, it doesn't matter.
Whatever you can remember and see with new glasses in shul when it's this big, okay?
You got
That's
that
every-
right. I got to shul a couple weeks ago and forgot my glasses at home because I had
Oh.
them by the menorah for Hanukkah. Yeah, that was fun davening. It was davening by guess.
I just want to share that we've been a little short on morning minion. So somebody who leads minion reached out to me and said, it'll help you with your Hebrew. And she's right. I've been going to morning minion almost every day. And there are some words that I can actually sight read now because of it. So it's as
Mazel
much
tov,
practice
Helene.
you can get, you could help. It works.
Beautiful.
It just
As long as
depends
I
on how
don't,
fast.
as long as I don't have to lead it. A year ago, I had good sight, and I came to Minion because I had good sight, and the rabbi asked me to lead. You had to see a deer in the headlights.
But you did
I was
it.
like, panic. I said,
But you did
someday,
it.
not yet. Not yet. Okay.
So we have 2 lines left. Would anybody like them? Two left. All right. How about Gail?
Okay.
Don't worry, Robin. There's more to come.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, Ozer Yisrael big vu ra. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, oter. I always have trouble with that A sound with that. Oter Yisrael betif ara.
Beautiful. Remember the days when it was so easy because the first line you already knew? Yeah, those were the days.
Is
So
that,
now it's-
was that Oter with the T?
yes, oter. It's a
Mhm.
tet. And the way I teach my kids, it's like a bathtub because the water can go in here
That's cute.
through the crack. So, because it looks like a samech.
It does. That's what mixed me up. Where
But
All
it's-
of them look
It
alike.
has a hole in the top.
Right. So that you can fill water in the tub.
That's the one I get confused too.
okay.
Yeah, all these lookalikes are confusing. I had my kids play bingo last Sunday. I wasn't there, just with the lookalikes. All right. Nice job. Would anybody like to go over the Shema? Y'all are looking like, I think we got that.
Yeah.
But then comes the Via Hafta.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
And this word right here, Vishinantam, that's what
Mhm.
one of the 4th graders read the other day, which was really impressive. And one of them has a more orthodox background, I should say more observant. And she said, Miss Debbie, I was able to read out of my dad's Siddur the other day. I said, I bet you were.
Wow.
So, it's amazing what they can do. Would somebody like to read part of the Via Hafta? All right, Helene, how about if you go until you are done where you want to stop and then someone else will pick up. You have to be paying attention so you know where she
I
leaves
could
off.
do the first. Okay, we have to et Adonai Elohecha b'kol levavcha u'b'kol.
Hold on. Let's go back to
Okay.
there's no coughs there. They're all chafs.
B'chol.
Yeah. But hold on, let's take a look at that. The chaf next to the bet. Notice that I don't know the names. I'm sorry. The vowel is larger than the
Kamatz.
one in. So we say
Kamatz. Kamatz.
kamatz. So instead of bechol, it's going to be bechol.
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 Yeah, bechol. No, you're right. Bechol. Normally
Bechol,
you would
okay.
read it as but because
it's a
it's
hol.
larger, you read it
Right.
as hol. Yeah.
Bechol levavcha u'bechol nafshecha u'bechol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi metzav. Oh, the song got stuck. He mitzavcha. Is it mitzvah?
Yep.
Mitzavcha.
Mitzavcha, yeah.
Hayom
Mhm.
al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha bedivar, bedivar, bedi, well, bedibarta, bam, beshivtecha. Okay, that's it.
All right, so she's
Done.
saying somebody else can pick up. Do you know where we are? And who would like to go? Gail, would you, or Robin, would you like to go?
Sure. Bebetecha uvlevtecha baderech uvshachbecha uvkumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha vechayu letotofot ben yenecha.
What's that last word?
No, I didn't say it right. Einecha.
There you go.
Tam al mezuzot betecha uvisharecha.
Beautiful. Those are not easy words.
Hey, you guys
Sandy?
are good. Yeah.
I have a question. I mean, this
Go
was
for it.
this was the first prayer that I learned in Hebrew school way back when. You know, and now I'm noticing all these things. And yesterday when I was reading this, the third line from the bottom, when you get shakbika, is that has that longer vowel? Does that go to an O?
I don't know that you could form it that way. Uv shoch becha. That would be very hard. I've never
That's a
heard it
hard
that way.
one,
I
yeah.
haven't
Possibly that is expected because of how much bigger the kamatz is. Uv shoch becha, but that feels weird in the throat. I'll have to find out about that. I've never heard it that way.
Yesterday, I hadn't either, and I looked and I was trying to be more precise, and I was looking at it yesterday and was like, wait a minute.
But you know what? Nobody's going to correct you. And when we're singing this on top of it, we hold out sounds longer. So that is a good point. That's going to stick with me. My rabbi's on vacation. Darn it. I can't ask him. Uv shach becha.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you could. It's just not something I've ever heard anybody say
Me either.
or read. But thanks for bringing it up. Just one more thing that makes us go,
I
All
was
right,
also
should we
gonna
move?
say, I was helping.
Isn't
I
it
was wo-
show, because it's a big
Yes. But we're
little
not sure.
T?
I've never heard anybody say uv shoch becha. Usually it's uv shach becha, but it could be that we're just not pronouncing it correctly because our speech is a bit lazy. So,
Could you read,
um,
could you
yeah.
read the last word in the second line from the bottom? Is that
einecha, your eyes.
Okay.
Einecha. Now here's the yud, but einecha, you can't really do N-A-Y because of the cha at the end. So it's einecha. It's because it's not two dots for an A, it's einecha. But the poor yud, he doesn't get to do anything, just sits there. Any other questions about via hafta?
I wouldn't
Because
mind going over it again. They say
All
it's
right.
fast.
All right. Well, would you like to start?
If anyone
Elaine?
else wants to.
Well, why don't you start and you stop when you're ready to stop and someone else can pick up.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha Bahal Lavavecha Uvhal Nafshaha Uvhal Meodecha Be'ayu Had Varim Ha'elech Asher Anohi Mezuha oh, here we go again.
You can do it. You can do it, Elaine.
Mezeuch
Well, pay attention, see check out the vowel under the tsadi.
It's hard to tell whether it's a line or two dots.
It's a line, it's a line.
Meza,
Now, although that has a dot, it's actually just the vav sound.
meza, vaha,
Mitzav cha.
mizav, ha. Okay. I keep going.
If you want,
Hayom,
so I'm gonna have to go back and correct myself. Mitzavecha. That last word on the second line. Mitzavecha.
aha.
Well, I don't know. Technically, there's a shva, there's a vowel with the shva that would cut the syllable mitzavcha. But again, when we sing it, mitzavecha, so we add extra when we sing. Keep going. It doesn't really matter.
Hayom al lavavecha veshina vatam.
One more time.
Veshivan.
Those are two nuns in a row.
There are two nuns in a row.
Two nuns. Yeah. No nuns in our class, but nuns. Yeah.
Why does one have a dot in it and one doesn't?
No idea. Has something to do with, my son said, from the past. I don't know.
Veshinantam lava necha vidivareha
One more time.
vidivarta.
Good, but that's a bet because it's got a
Oh, and I
bean.
just told you about the bean.
Right.
Vidivarta. Bam. Beshivtaha.
Good. You want to keep going? Or are you ready for someone else?
I'm ready for someone else, but
Who would that someone else like to be? Go for it, Sandy.
Uvteka, uvlectica, vaderic, uvshukbika, uvkumeka, ukshartam, leot, al yadeka, vahayu, litotafot, bain aneka, uvtavtom, al mezuzot, beteka, uvis oreka.
Wow.
good.
There are a few
They're not easy words. I mean, they rhyme, lots of echas, but it's a mouthful. Thank goodness that Hebrew is very phonetic. But then there's all these extra dots. You have to worry about some dots, but not other dots. Sandy?
I don't know, in one class, several of us, probably an earlier Hebrew class, talked about the fact that this was one of the first thing that we learned in Hebrew school. And I remember the rabbi calling on me on Friday nights, and I had to be in 6th or 7th grade, to do this on Friday nights. And so, I mean, that's how I learned it, though I wasn't familiar with all these rules, like with Bakol, and, some of us who were old enough said that we didn't get some of those rules that, now exist. So I've been reading it, somewhat wrong for many years, but it does seem hard when you look at it, though it has a rhythm to it. But
Right.
I'm kind of surprised that, several of us remember that this was something we learned very early, and yet it's pretty, it's.
But you learned it by rote, I bet. You just learned it because you went to services and you did it week after week and you just learned it. And as you learned to read Hebrew, you put letters to the sounds. But I wasn't taught about the bigger kamats. I just knew because that's how I learned to pronounce it. So.
And in some Siddur, they don't have the bigger kamats. You just have to figure
Have
it
to
out.
know. And
the
no
one that-
rabbi's going to kick you off the bima. As
No.
long as, so I have to be Torah gabbai sometimes. And the rabbi said to me, well, as long as it doesn't change the meaning. I don't know speak Hebrew. How will I know if they put a different vowel, it's going to change the meaning? So, if it's something minor, you're not going to get kicked off the BEMA if it's a vet instead of a bet. But we just do our best, right?
It's hard to believe that as kids we could do this because they're difficult words. They're tongue twisters in here.
But our little brains, when we're young, can do it pretty easily.
Yeah.
My problem is I grew up in Santa Barbara and there was no Hebrew school. And my first lesson in Hebrew was when I went to Brandeis Bardeen camp when I was in college and learned a little bit. And I've been trying to catch up all my life. Can never quite get fast enough.
Well, we just don't give kids enough credit for what they have to process. Everything that they encounter for so many years is new all the time, and they have to incorporate that. And here we are as adults. How much new do we incorporate every day? Not a whole lot, but it's a lot that's coming at them, and that their brains can process it all is pretty amazing.
Well, if you learn it when you're younger, I took Spanish all through school, and that I never forget. Well,
I'm glad you didn't.
I've forgotten a lot, but I can still read it and still understand a lot. But I started young. With Hebrew, I started much older.
Well, I'm just amazed at what you guys are doing. Some of you didn't even know the Aleph Bet. It's absolutely incredible how far you've come. That, now
Good
we don't
teachers.
necessarily, what?
Good teachers.
Yes.
Thank you, Corinne. But I have to say that a lot has to do with the time that you put into it. If you just come to the class once a week, you're going to learn, but you're going to learn a lot more when you apply what you're learning when you're practicing. But I mean, in here, we don't even know what the words mean a lot of the time. So it's even more incredible that you can read it and not really know what what it means, but you're still able to read it. This is a hard
Debbie,
one.
Debbie, I think what's important to me, and I'm going to talk later on about the practice session I've been running on Tuesdays, and I'm going to invite everybody who wants to join us. I'm going to continue doing it on Tuesday because that's the best day for me. But there are people there who sing. But if I say, take out the melody, you have to read it. They can't do it.
Yeah.
Because they're so used to doing, they have to add, I don't know, and just not looking at it, right? I said, and sometimes you're saying it because you're singing it and you're singing it wrong. You got the melody right, but the words are completely different. You're pronouncing a bet when it's a bet, et cetera, et cetera. So it's hard, it's hard to force yourself to not sing along. So you can actually
My
read the
whole
words.
life, until about a year or two ago, I thought that the third line, fourth word was Vishinatam. I didn't realize there were two nuns there who I didn't read it because I knew it. I'd memorized it. So it really shows you. And now I can't hear it without going, oh yeah, that's the one I didn't know. So it's pretty amazing. And I would say this is a pretty hard prayer of all the prayers, this and Ashrei.
I find Ashrei and Vayomer, which I try and I struggle through it.
Well, that's what's next.
Yeah,
Why
Vayomer.
is Ashrei so difficult? I don't know what it is about it.
There it is. Look, it's waiting for us.
Yay.
This I can do because we've been doing it in services out loud, but it's the middle paragraph. I'm struggling to get through it to be able to learn to say it. But
I just look for the tzitzi so I can do the tzitzi.
There you go. Would somebody like to take a try on Vayomer? All right, Lori, you have to unmute for us.
Can you make it a little bit bigger, please?
Let me see what I can do.
Just a little bit.
Hold on, let me move this bar up here.
Debbie, what's at the top of that page so I can find it in my notebook?
Oh, it is third paragraph of the Shema.
Thank you. Okay.
Hold on, let me see if I can make this page bigger. So
Oh, no, I can't read it if it's
Fine. That's
much
fine.
bigger.
Is that okay?
That's great.
All
Vayomer,
right.
right there. Vayomer Adonai El Moshe Lemor Daber El Bnei Yisrael La'amer Ta
Try
La'amar
that one. There you go.
Al Alehem Va'asu Lahem Seat Al Banfei
Check out that first letter in that word.
Confei
Yeah, you got it.
Big Day Hem.
Good. You want to keep going or are you letting someone else pick up?
Up to you.
It's up to you.
Okay. Lidori Tom.
One more time.
Maybe I should have quit while I was ahead. Lidori Tom.
There's the O vowel is up
Right.
above the resh.
Lidoro Tom.
There you go.
Benot Nu. Al. Seat. Ha. Hakonan. Knock. Nuff.
One more time.
No clue.
You
Ha.
can do it.
Hakol. Hakan. Hakana. Nah.
Aka.
Hakana.
Put the ending on.
Naf.
You
Like-
got it.
P T PTU.
Yep.
Tikhe let.
Good.
Someone else can start.
All right. Who wants to pick up at the end of line 3? Sandy.
V'haya lachem l'tititz ur-item oto uzkartem es et kol mitzvos Adonai v'asitem otam v'lo taturu acharei levavchem v'acharei anechem asher atem zonim akarehem. Want me to?
It's up to you.
Lama'an tiskuru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kadoshim lelohechem. Somebody else?
All right. Would someone like to finish it off for us? All
Bye.
right, Corinne.
Ani Adonai Elohechem asher otseti
Mhm.
etchem me'aretz Mitzrayim li hayot la
Careful. There's no it's lechiot.
lechiot lachem lelohim chem
You were right.
ani
Him. It's the vowel is right next to the trope. It's just a dot.
It looks like an M. I don't know what
I
it is.
know.
Okay, so lelohim
Good.
ani Adonai Elohechem.
Good job. Did anybody else want to have a turn with Vayomer Adonai? Sandy?
Okay, I just want to share something. I don't know if it'll work for other people, but as he said, I often volunteer or get volunteered to read the first paragraph of the Shema. And, I've done that many times, throughout my life, when I've gone to synagogue, during my different periods of time. And no one had ever asked me, or in my mind, I never connected anything more to the Shema except that first paragraph. And then we were at services about a year ago on Zoom, and somebody said to me, aren't you going to do the last paragraph? And it was like I clutched, I stumbled through it, and I thought to myself, okay, the next time somebody asks me, I'm going to be able to do it better. But we don't have services every Friday night. We alternate between Friday and night services and Shabbat services each week. So we're housed in a Reform synagogue, but we have, our own entity. And so they started Zoom services before we did. And so I was going to their services on Friday night, and they read the first paragraph and then they start with Lama'an, Tizkaru.
Yep, down here. Yep.
And so I started that when I was there, and I thought, okay, those words look easier a little bit to me. And so I started that, and that's what I did. I learned that part first. And then the first couple of lines with the T-seats or the kanaf, seemed a lot harder. And then I slowly worked my way through so that, now I can read it, when I'm called on to do so. But it was kind of like, it made sense to me because I remember I learned piano at 42 years old. I won't say
Wow.
I tried. I wanted to all my life, and my parents, when they could afford a piano, by then they said, oh, you're going into high school, you're not going to have time, etc. So I never, and finally when I finished grad school, my dad insisted on giving me some money, and I said, I'm going to put it away for a piano, which I did get. But at 42, it would be like learning Hebrew later. It never, I can dabble at it, but that's it. But one of my piano teachers said to me also, if you always start practicing at the beginning gets good, but the ending kind of falls apart. So she suggested, and I think it works sometimes, I use this for Hebrew, sometimes you start kind of like at the end, or, take different sections. And then after you've practiced those for a while, because the ending oftentimes doesn't get practiced as well as the beginning, that I know at least for this piece, that really helped me to start at the Lama'an, something I felt I knew a lot more of the words, and then went back and then started learning, putting it all together. So I
Thank you,
did that.
Sandy.
It worked for me. It worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for anybody else.
Does anybody else's shul do any part of the third paragraph? Yours does, Colleen?
We do it at every service. We do it in the morning at Minyan. And even then, because some people do wear their talit. I know I do. I wear mine, and we do it Friday night, and we do it on Saturday. We do it all the time. We don't do the middle. We do the first after Shema, and then we do the third. And the rabbi says, gather your tzitzit together, and
So that's a good point I wanted to bring up. Is everybody aware that when you see the word seat, that you're supposed to kiss the seat of the tallis if you're wearing one?
Yes.
Okay, just that's
and we
something.
do the same as Helene.
Okay. It's amazing. I was on Zoom. I'm trying to go, if I'm not with Women's League, I try to go on my synagogue Zoom to say Kaddish. And the number of people who are just sitting there, men with a tallis, and we're doing the Shema, and they're just reading along, no clue that they're supposed to, I don't know if they were just, zoned out, or if nobody's ever taught them that. So we try really hard with the B'nai Mitzvah kids when I was the president. Okay, time to gather your seat, like they need to be taught.
The rabbi or whoever's leading will do it, but the rabbi's there, he'll always tell people to gather tzitzit. And in the morning, be surprised how many of the women wear
Tefillin.
Tefillin, yeah.
I've done it once with Women's League.
I never knew you were supposed to do that.
You don't wear tefillin?
No, kiss the tallis.
If you are wearing a tallis, then when you
Saturdays,
when they get to Vahavienu, I don't know if you sing it or not, but in our shul we sing Vahavienu leShalom. It's the paragraph before the Shema. That's when you start gathering the seat so that by the Shema you're ready. You hold them all the way through until this last paragraph, and wherever you see the word seat, that's where you kiss the seat. It was a little difficult when I would forget and wear lipstick, because then I didn't want to really kiss it because I didn't want to get lipstick on my seat. But you know, these were problems Orthodox men didn't have to deal with. So,
Yeah, Debbie.
and then
I first saw it a few months ago when, in fact, I brought it up to, I think, our congregation and asked about it. I first saw it at Women of the Wall when I was watching one of the Rose Kodesh services, and I saw the women doing it. And they touch their eyes, I believe, too, and kiss it. But you know, the Israeli women that, you know, at Women of the Wall. So that was the first time I'd ever seen it.
interesting. So, you know, it's some people are taught, some of these things have to be taught. You know, I think some rabbis think that people just automatically know it, and we don't necessarily know all these things. Like I saw my rabbi gather his seat at another time, and I leaned over and said, I was sitting next to him. I said, why are you doing that? He said, I'll tell you later, and never told me. So, you know, there are traditions like in Ashrei, Poteach et yadecha, put out your hand. If, you know,
when do you stand? The other thing that I get is, when do you stand up? And when don't you stand up? And during Elenu, when is it that you bow, you know, that you bend your knee?
Well, in the
luckily
new
Lev-
book, it tells you.
Lev Shalem has
rabbi
that little
tells
character.
us.
What?
Our rabbi tells us you may be seated, you may stand, you know.
We
Yeah,
have
but
this issue.
not during the prayers, but in the new book, it has all the choreography for you.
Right. Has the little symbol of the person bowing.
Right.
But we have this issue. My husband just talked to the rabbi about when we finish the full Kaddish before the Torah service, he doesn't tell people to be seated. So then we start the Torah service, and it's near the end of the first page when you're supposed to rise when it says Kuma, because Kuma means stand up. But you can't rise if you have never sat down from Kaddish. And my husband said it would be nice for you to tell people to be seated so then they can rise. And he doesn't really want to say anything. He said, well, they're already standing. They're going to be standing again. And I said to my husband, do what you want, you know, but he's not very good. I've talked to him about, you need to tell people you may be seated. And I think he forgets. So we all have our strengths, right?
Right.
Can we review Elenu singing?
Sure. Let me bring it up.
It's a good one.
And
By the way, if anybody wants this pattern for a kippah, let me know.
Oh, pretty.
And
All right, let me move.
Ashrei, are we going to do that?
They
'Cause I
did
don't think
Ashrei
there's
last
time
week,
to do it.
apparently. We are not going to have time for Ashrei and Alenu. Is this Alenu? Let me look. Yeah. So you want to sing it? Is that what I'm hearing? All right, and see right here, this little red signal?
Can we sing?
Okay.
What can we sing? What'd you say, Helene?
What
That
is
means,
it?
is that where?
That's where we bow.
And
Yep.
that's your bow. You see the little person bowing? Okay.
Now, they don't tell you to stop to lift back up at Lifnei Melech, but you bow for this line. So are we singing?
Like, can we sing it, but a little bit slower than?
We'll go slow. All right, you ready? Aleinu leshabeach la'adon hakol la'atei gedula li'yotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoye ha'aratzot velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama shelo sam helkein kachem vegora Ananu Ori Umishami Ulorim Limelech Malay Hamlakim Hakadosh Baruch. Move it up now so we can see more. Here we go. Shehu noten shamayim veyoset aretz Ushkinat
Let's go.
Betorato Veyadayo Veyadayo Vehashem Elohim Anybody's synagogue do the next paragraph? Okay.
Okay. I'm not sure.
My rabbi came from Lexington and he taught us, we were doing it. I only wrote the beginning. Okay, Nekavel Adonai Eloheinu Mirot Mehera Betiferet Uzecha Le'avir Giluli Min Haaretz Ve'ha'elilim Karot Yekartun Vetaken Olam B'malchut Shaddai. And then people in the congregation didn't like that he was doing it, so he stopped. I'm like, what? You stopped? I got halfway through. So, but most people pick up down here, kakatuv. Kakatuv betoratecha Adonai yimlo leolam. Hold on. Ba'et enemar v'haya Adonai lemelech ha'aretz Bayom
Yes, and why can't you just let it go to voicemail?
Wow, like our own minion. Beautiful. And I hope that you will continue to use these to practice these prayers, whether you're going to services or just on your own. And Helene, did you want to tell people about Tuesdays?
I will send out, we can decide what we want to do. I've been doing Tuesday for just about a year, Robin, that I've been doing the Tuesday practice at 1 o'clock. And we did it from the original class that we had. But I invite everybody to continue if you'd like on Tuesdays and decide what you want to do. I can screen share, I can, do all the Zoomy stuff. But I'm going to invite everybody in this class if they'd like to participate, because the more you practice, the easier it becomes. you know, so
Helene, would you like me to send you the PowerPoint so you have
I
it?
would love that.
I will send it to you.
Send me the PowerPoint, and yeah, that's a lot easier than having to scan things, which I've
For
done. I
sure.
have a bunch of scans, but I'd like the PowerPoint. Any comments? You know, I think again, not doing it on Fridays have been a little rough for me. I have a lot going on Fridays, but I've been, we've been
Helene,
doing the class on
Are
Friday.
you,
Yeah,
Helene, are you East Coast time?
I'm East Coast time, so it'll
Okay.
be 1 o'clock. Robin?
I was just going to say, I highly, highly recommend the classes. It's a way of us getting to know each other better also, and we critique each other, and there's nothing to be embarrassed about, and it's just.
Teacher doesn't call on you. Right. So exactly. We watch for each other, and it's interesting how much we actually know, Robin, right? When all of a sudden somebody says Bakal and go, no, it's Bechol, and we work with each other. But it's really worked out a lot. So Robin and I had talked about it, and you know, love to expand the class and just continue. And we do partners. That's the way we do it. We do the partners, and I find it really helps. And then you'll all be invited to my bat mitzvah in 2023. I ever get there.
Well, and
Helene,
also,
oh.
go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah.
Now, Helene, please include me. I had a conflict, but
I know.
my other class has been changed now to later.
Oh, wonderful, Elaine. So I want to include everybody in there. I want to include my old crew and everybody in this class, put everybody together, and we'll do it on Tuesdays. And I just, as Robin said, it started out when Robin missed a class. That's how this started, is Robin missed a class. And
Wow,
then
it's
all
all
of a
your
sudden,
fault,
next thing-
Robin.
and it's all her fault. But I think it's great, you know, and the great thing, and I'm incoming president of my sister, and one of the things I tell them, I said, I talk to sisterhood members and presidents and chairs from all over the country now. So I can tell you what's going on in other congregations. And I've made friends. I mean, there are people now who become friends. And I've learned so much. We learn from each other, not just about Hebrew, but about traditions, about what we're doing in our own synagogues, about food, about crocheting 170 kippot, whatever. But it's a great way of staying in touch and keeping up, because with language, if you use it or lose it. I was a Russian major. I
Oh,
can read
Wow.
bookstore. Well, when you're 14, you learn the alphabet in one day. But there's no diacritical marks. But I don't remember any of it. I don't remember any Russian. A little French, yeah, but no Russian. With language, you've got to keep using it. So,
Right.
well, I will give you all a goal. July 17th, 2023 is the Women's League Convention. And they are hoping, so that is also going during convention, the bat mitzvah class that has been learning on Zoom since the beginning of I think they did that before the pandemic, but they are actually going to celebrate becoming a bat mitzvah.
Oh,
No,
that's
Sandy,
wonderful.
they started before or during, do you know?
I think they started during. And my bat mitzvah,
You're in it, Corinne?
My bat mitzvah is scheduled for August 26, 2023, and it's all by myself. So the rabbi
Good
is
for
already, yeah, I got my portion, which is very short, one of the shortest of the years. But he also told me you're going to have to do, you know, probably 6 lines of Torah and the ashtray, which has me, that's one I was terrified of. But I'm going to have to do this whole thing. You know, if I want this, I'm going to have to do it all. So,
Well, so
Whatever.
I know that I've talked with Edna. I think Debbie Goldich and Rabbi Ellen really want the students from the Hebrew classes to participate in services at the convention. So be thinking about what interests you. They're nowhere near making those decisions,
No.
but if you would like to participate, they might say, okay, whoever wants to come up and help lead Ashrei or Aleinu, or, you know, so I'm not sure how, but don't worry, I will be making sure that you are not forgotten. But it means that you got to keep practicing for 2023.
So there's nothing, like, there's no other classes, organized classes coming up.
I asked Julia and she said not for this level. Like, this is where they time out. I know people have wanted a modern Hebrew class.
I
but
can't
don't
get
think-
that phone.
So I think you have maxed out because you now know have all the skill. It's just putting it into practice.
I think it's practice, yeah. Debbie, where did you learn to read so well and all that? Did you go to a Hebrew day school?
Nope, just Hebrew school, and then, leading services a little bit at my synagogue, but my brother, I was in the choir. So of course you had to, do a lot of practice with reading. And then my brother led Erev Rosh Hashanah services. And when he moved to Japan, when his kids were young, I took over and did that. But that, was one set of services. And then I guess when I came to the synagogue we're at now, they just asked me to start leading services. And I learned a lot actually from when my kids were B'nai Mitzvah. I didn't know Pazuke, de Zimra. I didn't know Shacharit, but with my son practicing for his bar mitzvah all the time, I'd be washing dishes saying, please rise for Vayavarech David. And, so you learn it. And so
That's amazing. And you've got a beautiful voice.
Thank you. My goal now is to be able to lead morning minyan. I can do preliminary and I can do closing, but the repetition of the Amidah, I got to get a little bit more skilled in all those prayers in between, the silent prayers. So we'll get there. We'll all get there on our journey. We just got to keep trying. So
Practice makes perfect, right?
Right. Debbie, I thank you for everything. And I think we've all come a long way, and
amazing.
I think we can all be very proud, but I think we couldn't have done it without you.
I think you were well on your way before I came into your life, but thank you. Sandy, did you want to say something?
Yeah, just Lori and I are in the Bat Mitzvah class, so if you want to, come encourage us, as but right now in the Bat Mitzvah class, when I joined, I thought it was going to be, the Hebrew and the Torah portions, and right now it's kind of learning the reading and learning the meaning of prayers, and I think they're waiting for everybody to kind of get a little bit on a more even keel with, the classes. The other thing is that, I'm one who keeps trying to push Julia and Ellen to, offer something more to no avail. But I mean, I heard Julia say once that, the goal is that now that, some of us, are at a certain point that we should, the hope is that we would take it back to our sisterhoods and start, sharing that and getting groups together within our sisterhood to do it. And my third comment is, if you want to somewhat continue some of these things, I encourage, I know Corinne and I are on the Macomb every day. If you want to listen to Debbie sing a beautiful Hallel, it's, she and Toby and sometimes another person does Hallel.
I love Macomb. I'm heartbroken if I miss it.
Yes, I mean, it's absolutely breathtaking, and I don't have a voice, but I'm trying to learn it, but it means so much more to me now after I see our women teaching us to do that. So, anybody who's available at 11 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Friday, though it won't be the next couple of Fridays. We have new
11 a.m. Central,
time.
But
12 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It's a women's league group that started during the pandemic because one of the women, Debbie Green, her mother died the day after the world shut down, and she had no place to say Kaddish. So she spoke with the president, who spoke with the rabbi of Women's League, and the rabbi said, you know what, we can do this as long as we read a psalm or study a psalm, we can do Kaddish. So it started, we were 6 days a week, Sunday through Friday. I wasn't even on at the very beginning. I didn't learn about it until a little after they had started. And we started with, you'd come on, somebody would sing Misha Berach so that we could remember, think of those who are sick. Then we would study a psalm, read a psalm of the day and study it. And then someone would read a Kaddish list and we'd say Kaddish. And then we took it down to 5 days a week. And then when the world started to open again, we went down to the 3 days of the week where there's no Torah reading, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And now on Tuesdays, Rabbi Ellen Wollensfield teaches right now she's doing Mishnah. So Mishnah Rosh Hashanah, she's finishing. Wednesdays, Rabbi Margie, blanking on her last name, Margie
Stella.
Sella does Mishle, which is Proverbs. And then on Fridays, one of our women from our group teaches about the Torah portion of the week. And it's fabulous. I have friends from all over the world. We come together. So if you're interested, look in your Women's League weekly email, scroll down more toward the bottom, and there's a link to go on every Friday, or every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. And it's just a fun way to get to know women. And I encourage you to take it back to your sisterhood. My sisterhood actually started, I think, because of one of the women in the Hebrew class. We had a woman that taught the concluding service of the services, the concluding prayers, so that more women could come forward and do, Aleinu to the end. Actually they did Ein Keloheinu and Aleinu. And so I encourage you to get involved. You guys have the skill now to lead some of these prayers. So you can do it. You just have to believe you can do it.
And the